What's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm at a special filming location because guess what? We have something special for you from that iconic Japanese brand. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is the end of the line. The final edition of the 2026 Mk5 GR Supra. But before we get into this bright red enhanced final edition Supra, let's talk about what's going on here. So I was there at the Detroit Auto Show. That was the unveiling of the Supra about 5 years ago. And it's interesting how people were livid. They were ripping down pictures and protesting about how they felt the Supra wasn't 100% Toyota. Well, I'm happy to report that by now, most people have gotten over it. And a lot of people have learned to love and like the Mk5 Supra. The interesting thing is, it's now the end of the line. This is it. This is the last model year. And this particular trim is a final edition with a lot of special touches. Now, unfortunately, it's not like the final edition that they got over in Europe. We had extra horsepower, a Krapovich exhaust, carbon fiber buckets. But what I want to find out is, at the end of the day, is this worth the price? Because obviously you're going to have to pay a little bit more for the final edition of the Mk5 Supra. Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, the final edition is going to be available in only a few select colors. Of course, the red is going to be one of those choices. And by going with the non-matte finish flat black one, you are going to get some extra special touches. But where it all starts, of course, is at the front of the business. They did a great job with the styling of the headlight design, full LED. Where they dropped the ball for me is all the fake vents. They're still there. Yes, Toyota has sworn up, down, left and right and diagonal. You can make them all functional, but who wants to do that after spending this kind of money on a sports car? Now, one of the things you're gonna notice, because this is a final edition, is this extra piece of aero. So you'll notice how it kind of just sticks on, and I am gonna zonk it because it doesn't fit nicely with the dive plane that's part of the front fascia. It's literally stuck on, but it's necessary for aerodynamics because you're gonna get extra negative camber at the front of the business on this vehicle. What does that mean? So camber is where you make adjustments and tilt the wheel inward or outward. Inward is negative camber, outward is positive camber, and what they did was they went in and did negative camber. So essentially the lower portion of the tire is angled out, and that's why that aero is needed. I understand the reasoning behind it. I just wish it didn't look literally like a piece of stuck-on plastic. That's all. Still like the flat black that they have in the front fascia, and of course mixed in with the red. And then as we come across that very unique nose, that Toyota badge, you do have your fully functional center grille with that nice splitter. And they did take certain design elements from that concept vehicle that many people thought was going to be the Supra quite a few years ago. But of course, the big argument with this is that it's been a combined effort between Toyota and BMW, and the car is not built in Japan. It's not built in the United States. It's actually built in Austria. So that's the other sour point. But like I said, when it comes to driving it, it's pretty impressive, and I can't wait to take you through the twisty bits. Now, rest of the front fascia is exactly how every other GR Supra for Mk5 looks. We rise up, same thing with the hood. So the hood and the top of the fenders are all one piece. You do have those fake vents on the back side, which they could have made those into heat extractors very easily. And then as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire subs. So you're actually going to get these unique wheels. These are forged aluminum wheels, lighter than cast aluminum, katana blade style, multi-spoke design. You do have those large 4-piston calipers. Rotors are actually bigger on the final edition. So your standard Supra, they're 13.7 inches up front. On the final edition, they're 14.7 inches. Now I know it's just an inch, but when we're talking about braking rotors and braking capability, that extra inch is gonna really go a very long distance. We also have the adaptive suspension, the dampers, specially tuned for this final edition. Because remember, with the changes that they made to the camber and some of the other things I'm gonna talk about, they had to really go all four corners and really tweak this car. It's got thicker anti-roll bars, and it's got a brace underneath the chassis to help stiffen everything up while you're going through the twisty bit. So you're not gonna get a lot of extra goodness in a straight line, but where this is gonna pay dividends is through the twists, through the bends, and on the brakes, which like I said, I can't wait to take you on throttle. Now coming down the side of the vehicle, final edition, if you go a different color than the matte black, you're gonna get carbon fiber mirror caps, real deal carbon fiber. They black out the A-pillar like always. And from the side, I've always liked the proportions of the Mk5 Supra. Definitely has that sports car attitude. You got your flat black side sill extension. This is another zonk where you got that fake vent. There's actually a manufacturer of bodywork that you could get this and fill this part in. It actually really cleans up the side of the door very nicely. Love the way they do the roof line. And then out back, you're not getting beefed up brakes, unfortunately, but you do have the 19-inch wheels. So these are 19-inch wheels wrapped in those Pilot Super Sport tires. Out back, it's a little bit wider. They're 275s, and the electronic limited slip diff has been retuned specifically for this final edition. So that's gonna be interesting to see how it gets the power to the ground. Love the flared fender coming into the rear. And then of course the other big piece is this carbon fiber trunk lid spoiler. Nice kick up. I'm glad they didn't do a retro basket handle design. LED lighting on the taillights. You got your GR badge, of course. They go flat black, just like the original Supra. And remember, if you know your Supras, if you think about it, the first Supras weren't even Supras, they were Celicas. It was a Celica Supra. And then eventually they became known as Supras when they switched the generations. Now, on this GR86, you have those stainless steel tips, nice active exhaust, and I love the way they do the lower rear diffuser, like it's off a freaking Toyota WEC prototype car with your LED reverse lights, and just that bright red looks great. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk about horsepower in this Supra. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You'll notice how, like I said, the top of the fenders go up with the hood. Final edition gets the beefy strut tower brace. Look at the way they tie in the front where the radiator is held into your shock top mounts. There's all our wiring for the adaptive suspension. You got the GR badge, remember that stands for Gazoo Racing. Handles all their rally car, WEC, and sports car efforts, and a very tasteful engine cover. Actually looks really good. What do we got though, horsepower? No extra horsepower. So it's a 3-liter straight six, that inline six, single turbo. This has never been a twin turbo. 382 horsepower, 368 pound-feet of torque. You can get a 6-speed manual or an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60, they're saying with the tweaks, 0 to 60 in about 3.6 seconds, quarter mile in 12 seconds flat, and a top speed of 160 miles per hour. MPGs 32 in the city, 22 in the city. Woohoo! Which is actually pretty good. 29 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs 3,450 pounds. So nice to see a nice balanced package. There's been people that get a lot of extra horsepower out of this power plant by doing all sorts of things. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this final edition and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this one of just 1,300. Don't ask me why they chose 1,300, kind of a weird number. Why can't it be like one of 1,000 or one of 500 for Mark 5 or I don't know, 1,300? That just sounds like a weird number. But anyways, I know you're saying to yourself, Joe, I really don't care how many they make of these. I want one. How much is it? Very good question. MSRP, it's going to cost you a tick under $70,000. It's like $69,780. Let's see if the final edition is worth the price. To the door panels. You're getting the same door panels. I wish they could have brought some other stitching, color. It's still a nice door panel, but it's the same one as a regular Supra. So you have the soft touch on the armrest, the contrast stitching, your JBL sound system, that gloss metallic black around the window switch gear, and then a door pocket that's very, very small, maybe 2 7-Eleven hot dogs, and that's about it. Going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch, the stitching is nice. Slide on in, you got that 8.8-inch infotainment system. It is the old BMW iDrive software system, so don't be surprised. I'm sure we all have figured that out by now, what it is. It's very easy to use, and it's not positioned too high where it blocks your vision out the window, so that's good. But I mean, you could get into all your different vehicle status, system settings, and as you can see, it's pretty quick reacting. Where it really wins is where it's going to be in reverse. So throwing it back, nice clear resolution. I just wish it was a little bit larger, but the resolution out of control in a very good way. And then we're right back where we started. Ta-da! Real volume knob. You got your switch gear here. Start stop button, that aluminum looking start stop button. 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. That's a zonk at $70,000. Dual climate control. You got your wireless charging, USB-A, carbon fiber. There's your BMW direct drive control knob, the older one. This one, unfortunately, is equipped with the ZF 8-speed automatic, but you can get the 6-speed manual. That would be my choice. You got your button for sport mode, shut off the traction control, 2 cup holders built in, but remember the final edition does come with 2 covers. Where those covers are is beyond me. I don't think they put them in the glove box. Somebody must have kept them as a gift, as a souvenir. So, and there's a 12 volt up front. You're definitely going to want to know that because you want a radar detector in here. Now the seats for the final edition, you got the embroidery, and they give you the 2 different types of stitching, the Alcantara material, electric controls for the passenger, electric controls for the driver. You do have a little cubby here for probably 3 Twinkies. You could stack them up, and then you have easy access to the cargo area, plus speakers right behind you that are part of the JBL sound system. I just wish there were some more special touches in here. It feels like a regular Supra, Mark 5 Supra. But why don't you come over here to the business end? Let me show you if it gets any better in this final edition. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your aluminum sill plate with the Toyota Supra badge. That would have been nice for it to say final edition. Where you see final edition is in the dumbest place ever. They might as well stick it underneath the car. This shows you how many they're making. This is one of the 1,300. Pedal box, decent. Aluminum framed brake pedal and throttle. Plastic dead pedal. I want aluminum. Come on, 70 grand. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat, full electric, of course. Another thing you get, because this is final edition, are the red seat belts. 5 extra horsepower for these. And then the wheel. Not my favorite. It reminds me of a wheel out of a bumper car. Don't like the horn button. I do like the flat black on the switchgear. Would have been nice to say GR, Supra, final edition, Toyota, Akio, something. It's just bland. Paddles on the back, they are plastic to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. And it is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then you have that very unique dash. I like the way that they have a physical bezel there. And then right now we're in sport mode. And then when you hit non-sport, you can see how the tack changes a little bit. And there's your tack. So it's very, very nice, focused setup on the dash, and there is a head-up display, which is good as well. Now you do have the cargo area. I've already shown it to you. You could put a couple carry-ons back there. That's not what this review is about. What this review is about is, you know what? If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in the final edition Supra. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Toyota Supra final edition, the Mk5. I have it in sport mode, and I have the shifter pulled over to the driver's side because I'm gonna manually shift with the paddles. Are you ready? Because I'm definitely ready. On throttle, here we go. We're gonna see if these changes really show what the Supra is all about. Definitely, you can feel the grip at the front of the car with that extra camber, that's for sure. On the brakes. Smooth downshifts. It definitely turns a lot quicker. Not like it was slow turning, but the turning is so quick. The remapping of that electronic limited slip diff, you can feel how it's working, and it really allows you to communicate to your rear end how much grip the car has out back. Obviously, when you're behind the wheel, you have that same physical experience, kind of closed in a little bit. I like it, but when you compare it to a Z NISMO, the Z NISMO has the better visibility and better space layout on the interior. The car is so confidence inspiring. It really shows that the Supra, the Mk5, from its first year of introduction to the final year of its departure, has evolved. They really have made these incremental changes. I like the simplicity of the one mode, sport, that's it. What I hate, and I got a zonk, is the pumped-in sound. It's BMW pumped-in sound. I don't like it when it's in a BMW, and I definitely don't like it when it's in this GR Supra. The suspension does a great job when it comes to compression and rebound. It's not really bouncy. It's not too harsh. You definitely know that you're in a precision instrument of a sports car. Paddles are well within reach. It's just the steering wheel, I hate looking at it. But I guess if you don't look at the wheel, it won't bother you as much. I just wish the paddles were a little bit larger and they were made out of metal. Would be a nice touch for the final edition. And of course, the red seatbelt, that extra 5 horsepower. Still getting the physical pops and bangs out back, which is nice. It's just the pumped-in sound. It's too much. It's just too much. It's too fake. You do have a nice large gear indicator. It's a bright orange. Would be nice if the gear indicator was in the head-up display as well. But you definitely feel like you're in a special sports car in this Mk5 Supra. But let's see how it goes when we go through the twisties. On throttle, here we go! Dab of the brakes. Got those larger rotors up front. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, the front end grip is amazing. Nice, look at that. Yes! I really feel like the traction control works so well with you. And they had to kind of tweak that a little bit with the ECU tuning, because the traction control is amazing in this car because it helps cut some power,
but it's not like reining you back too much. It dances with you and allows you to actually have that grip you need, but also keep accelerating, which is important. But I mean, this car just, I mean, it moves so well, so quick, especially with that extra negative camber. Let's see how a U-turn goes. Curious. Look at that. Wow. Not too shabby. Just that pumped-in sound. Stupid. Stupid. Especially when you got a straight six turbocharged engine. You got the exhaust popping away. Why do we need sound pumped in? I don't get it. I really don't. Especially when it's that obnoxious. Like, I know some brands, they do it just to kind of balance things out, but it's BMW has it too much in your face. I'll tell you right now, if you do autocrossing, if you go with a final edition and you're running in a stock class, the extra camber is definitely going to give you an advantage over other vehicles in that class for sure. Are you ready? Second gear. On throttle, here we go. Pulls nicely all the way through the rev range. Brakes feel great. Fast shifts from that ZF 8-speed automatic. Look how balanced she is. Nice. Nice. You're definitely gonna feel the difference. You're definitely gonna feel the difference. And yes, I would prefer the manual, but it's interesting because I don't have the manual for this drive. It allows me to kind of focus more on what the chassis is doing. So that's really nice that I can communicate that to you. The extra bracing you feel, the extra brake, even though, like I said, it's just 1 inch larger diameter rotors, you're getting that extra surface area for the pads to hold on to, and you're able to shed that speed quickly and very efficiently so it doesn't upset the balance of the chassis. So it's one of those cars, it's like when I do a GR86 review. If you're a driver, a true driver, and you like drivers' cars, you're gonna appreciate the differences that they made to this car. If you just want extra 0 to 60 and straight line speed, you're not going to be able to appreciate this car, and that's the bottom line. And it's the same thing with the Nismo. Even though the Z NISMO has 420 horsepower, it does have a little bit more weight, but I just feel like this car is more dialed in. The problem is when you drive it on an autocross or at a track day, you got to run with the windows down, and the buffeting is still just plain right stupid in here. But other than that, I mean, if you're looking for a driver's car, even with the automatic, this is a driver's car. And the tweaks that they made are tweaks that you would make to a race car. Because sometimes, well, a lot of times in racing series, you can't just make a ton of extra horsepower. You gotta find other ways to make the car quick. And one way to make a car quick is to make it more confidence-inspiring to drive. And that's what happens when you get behind the wheel of this final edition. But if you're ready, I'm ready. One more time through the bits, the twisty bits. On throttle, here we go. On the brakes, look at this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you're feeling the difference. The grip at the front and the back. Nice. Wow, 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 wow. Wow. Like I said, yes, I would prefer the manual, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. This is the car they sent. So this is the car that I go on throttle with. I'm really not gonna complain. But with this final edition, I just wish they would have done something a little bit more to the exterior maybe, and to the interior. I'm okay with it not having extra horsepower. I'm not gonna cry about that. Even though the one in Europe got extra power. I like the changes that they made. I just, you know, from an exterior standpoint and interior standpoint, I just want it to feel a little bit more special because it is the final edition. This is it. Mark V is dead. And my question is it gonna be one of those cars that once it's gone, that's when everybody's gonna want it? That seems to be the way the cookie crumbles. Once it's gone, then people want it. But even though I want to go keep on throttling in this thing, we got to get back and wrap it up. So if you're ready, I'm ready. I'll see you in a Supra second.
Guys, another great day, even though it's hot as heck out here. But definitely got to thank everybody at Toyota USA for allowing us access to this press fit vehicle, this Mark V Supra Final Edition. Man, did we have a blast going down the twisty bits in my neck of the woods. Now it's your turn. Let me know what you think. For the money, it's quite a bit of moolah. Is this worth it, or are you gonna take your money somewhere else? Let me know in that comment section, but if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, think you're being part of the Raised Reds family, gotta get it to Stephen Flood. He's a man on a mission, and you know what? He's gonna make his mission successful. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do, and just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.